today's video is going to be a tutorial over this look. This is my first fall tutorial over this winged liner and Vampy lip look. So if you want to find out how to get it, then just keep watching. Alright, so we're going to start off. I'm going to prime my face with the number 7 Beautifully Matte Makeup Base. And I'm just going to use that all over my face to get up any excess oils. Then I'm going to move on to my brows. I'm using the NYX Microbrow pencil in Brunette. I'm just going to use the spoolie side to kind of shape out my brows and lay them flat. And then I'm going to take the pencil and use that to kind of fill in my arch and any kind of sparse places that need a little bit of thickening, just because sometimes I go a little too ham doing my brows. You all know how that is. And then I'm going to take the spoolie side and kind of soften it up. Then I'm using the NYX Tinted Brow Gel in Brunette, and I'm going to use that to really fill in my brows and give them a little bit more of a defined look. Now I'm just going to take another spoolie and use that to kind of soften up any harsh clumps or anything that kind of might be showing. And then I'm going to take the clear Anastasia brow gel and I'm just going to use that to hold everything into place. Next, I'm going to be using two foundations. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless and the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Foundation. I'm just taking the Maybelline one and using this Real Techniques brush to first lay it down and kind of put it as my initial base. And then I'm just going in with a beauty blender to even it all out. And then I'm taking the L'Oreal Infallible foundation and I'm using that to kind of fill in and give it a little bit more of a heavy duty coverage because I'm excessive like that. Now I'm going in the Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer. I know it's a little hard to see, but I'm using that to cover any blemishes or any marks that I might have, any kind of redness that might be showing through, and then just taking my beauty blender and going in with that to blend it all into place. Then I'm going to take the Maybelline Fit Me Powder in 110 and I'm just going to use that as even more coverage because this oily mess sometimes just needs a little something extra, and I'm just using that to kind of set it. Then I'm taking the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm going to use this lighter shade and use that under the eyes and down the center of the face to kind of highlight with that. And I'm taking this middle shade, I'll have the names down below, and I'm going to use that to contour. So I'm taking the NARS Ita brush and then just placing that as kind of my bronzing contour shade on the forehead and under the cheekbones and under the jaw and the nose, kind of like that. If I keep looking away, it's because I was watching Scandal at the same time that I was filming this, which, you know, it's Scandal, you gotta pay attention. Then I'm just going in with this airbrush blender brush from Sephora, and I'm just using that to blend out the contour and soften it up so it's not these crazy harsh lines. I don't really like the Ita brush for blending, it just hasn't worked for me, but I do really like the Sephora brush a lot when it comes to blending out contouring and bronzer and all that business. Now I'm going to take the darkest shade and I'm just going to put this kind of in the hairline, jawline area just to give it a little extra added definition without it being like crazy dark, and then just taking that same brush and blending it all together. Next I'm taking the Revlon blush in Naughty Nude and I'm just using that and putting it all over the apples of my cheeks, just because it's a really pretty kind of neutral nude that's not going to take away from the eye look and the lip look, but still give some color. And then I'm going to go in with Becca's Shimmering Skin Perfector and Champagne Pop. I love this thing. I use it every single time I highlight, and I'm just going to put that on the tops of my cheeks and the high points of my brow. Then I'm going to take the Lorac Pro Eye Primer, and I'm just going to use that to prime my eyes. Sorry, I was just coughing so my voice gets a little hoarse now. But I'm just going to use that to prime my lids and get it all set and ready. And I'm taking the Anastasia Tamna palette and I'm going in with Bengal, which is, you can use, I know this palette isn't still sold necessarily everywhere, but you can still use any kind of tan goldish shade, and I'm just using that in the crease. Just laying that down, kind of blending that in that windshield wiper motion. And I do sometimes go in with a second brush and kind of lay everything down. Then I'm going to take the Lorac Pro palette and I'm going to use Sable, which is a little bit of a richer brown with a little bit of a red undertone. I'm also laying that into the crease, and again going with the windshield wiper motion, just laying that in, going back and forth, and putting it down, kind of blending it. It's a very kind of heavy on the brown in the crease, has a pretty light lid. And I'm just going to take this natural hairbrush and just use that to kind of blend the two together, just because sometimes, I don't know, I'm excessive. Then I'm going to take Chocolate from the Tamna palette, which is a deeper, think of Sable, just a little bit richer. It still has that warm undertone, but it's just a deeper brown. Espresso from the Lorac Pro palette is also really similar to this. Just going to use that as my final color in the crease, sorry. And then I'm just going to go back in and blend it out with this Smashbox brush, which I actually got in the full exposure palette, but I really like it for blending. It's an excellent blending brush. Then I'm taking Fresh, which is just kind of a nudish, has the hint of a sparkle, but is really just a kind of beigey nude. Nude from the Lorac Pro palette is very similar to this. I just like this palette a lot. I love Anastasia's shadows. And then I'm just going to lay that down on the lid and then just kind of blend it in the crease so that you don't have any kind of funky line. Then I'm taking that same color and using it as my brow highlight underneath the brows and blending that together. And then I also use it on the inner corner of my eye. Then I'm taking the Makeup Forever Aqua Liner in, I think it's M10, which is their black shade, and I'm using that to tightline the upper waterline of my eyes, just to give it some definition in the lashes. Next, I'm taking the Stila Stay All Day Liquid Liner in black, and I'm going to use that to create my wings. I'm just going to start off by drawing the outside portion of the wing, just creating that line. That's going to kind of be my guide for both of the eyes, and then I just create a line from that to the lash line, and then from there I just fill it in kind of in small short strokes, going in steps to create the longer line, and just keep going back and forth, kind of doing that with both eyes. Just in steps, it makes it a little bit easier, and also gives more control and makes it look more even than if you try to do one eye and then the other. Now I'm going to go back in with Bengal and put that on the lower lash line just as a base to kind of create a little pop underneath when I lay on the darker color, because I'm going to then go in with Chocolate and blend that out to create a little bit more of a smoky look on the lower lash line. Going back in with the Makeup Forever liner and also doing that on the lower lash line. I just like adding a little bit of black to connect the top line and the bottom lash lines. Gives it more effect. I'm going in with some mascara. I think this is just the Diorshow Mascara, just to create a base, because I am going to do falsies. And then I take the Benefit the Real. I always use that on my lower lashes just because it never smudges. Then I'm going in with the Vegas Nay Grand Glamour lashes just because I wanted a super bold lash look, and I adore these lashes. I have been desperately looking for more pairs because I was only able to get one. I wish I got them all when I saw them at Ulta, or actually I think I actually ordered that pair online, but I love them. They are beautiful, they are nice and fluffy and full, and I adore them. So I'm just going to use those and put those on because they are beautiful. Now you guys are going to witness what my face looks like when I'm busy washing Scandal in the middle doing my lashes. Go in, kind of tweak it, put it in place, go back and look. This was during the season 4 finale. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it was, if you have seen it, you know which part I'm talking about. You're gonna see it right here on my face. There was a specific part where you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, you can't believe that that happened. It's so shocking. That's my face, my look of shock and disgust. Next, I'm going to take the NYX Lip Liner in Prune. I'll have a list of everything that I use down below, just for sure to get the names right, because I'm pretty sure it's Prune. But even though I use a liquid lipstick, I still like going in with a liner and just kind of setting it as a guideline, just as I fill in, it makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion. And then I'm going to take the NYX Liquid Suede lipstick. This is in Vintage. It's just a nice, deep, kind of purpley vamp, but not so deep that it's like black. It has a little bit of a red undertone, but I love it. So yeah, anyways, that concludes this tutorial. Let me know what you think. Subscribe and give a thumbs up to see more videos. Let me know what fall tutorial you want to see next, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!